Hello, my name is Aayushi and today I'm going to be showing you how to make chocolate cupcakes. So first of all, you will need 115 grams of butter at room temperature, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence or vanilla extract, half a cup of cocoa powder, pure cocoa powder, 1 cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of baking powder. You will also need 3/4 cups of buttermilk. So first of all, and these are the ingredients just for making the cupcakes. For the icing, I will show you the ingredients later. So before we start mixing, you need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. And also, I've lined my cupcake tray with cupcake liners here. That way it is easier to take out the cupcakes after they're baked. You can also spray them with non-stick spray. So I'm going to start off with mixing my butter and sugar until they're well incorporated or mixed together. That's 115 grams of butter, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of sugar. And here I'm just hand mixing it because if you over mix a cupcake batter, it can turn tough and become like a bread. As you can see now, the butter and the sugar have become quite well mixed. So now, after this, I'm going to add in my egg. And mix my egg in really well. Now the batter is going to slightly loosen up and be a little easier to mix than it was before. As you can see, it's become sort of a thick paste now. And after this happens, it means your egg is well incorporated with it. So now I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. And you don't need too much of vanilla essence in this recipe as it is not a vanilla cupcake. It's only there slightly to give it a little bit of flavor. And now I'm going to mix in the vanilla essence as well. So now after this is done, I'm just going to keep it aside for a minute. And I'm going to take all my dry ingredients, which is my cocoa, flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda, and I'm just going to mix them together lightly. They don't have to be sifted together really well. I'm just going to give them a little mix so they're easier to mix into the batter. Now that my dry ingredients are all mixed, I'm going to put all these into this batter over here. So just put them all right in. And I'm going to mix it just until both the wet and the dry ingredients are about mixed, because if I over mix it too much, it will become really tough and dry like bread, and it won't remain moist. As you can see, it's starting to become like a dough. So I'm just going to mix it a little more, and then I'm going to let it be. Now that both the dry and the wet ingredients are mixed together, it will look something like this. And now I'm going to add in my buttermilk. Now if you can't find buttermilk in your supermarket, you can also make it at home by adding 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar to a cup of milk just to curdle it slightly. And that is what gives the moisture to the cupcakes. So I'm going to add in 3/4 cups of buttermilk here. mix this, and now the batter is gonna become a little more loose and be easier to pour out into the cupcakes. But remember, this is not cake batter, so it won't be as thin or as loose as cake batter would be. And do not try to mix out all the lumps, because lumpy is fine, but if you over mix it and try to mix it, make it a really smooth batter, again it will become tough like bread. So there you can see my batter is nice and smooth. There are a few little lumps, but that's okay. And now I'm going to pour out my batter into my pre-fixed muffin tray. And I prefer using an ice cream scoop to pour out the batter so that each cupcake, the paper or liner, has equal amounts of batter in it. So I'm just going to fill in all my cupcakes here. So here I filled in all my cupcake liners, and I'm going to pop these into the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. So after about 18 or 20 minutes, or when the toothpick has come out clean, take them out of the oven and let them cool so that after we put the icing on them, the icing doesn't melt off. And I'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome back. I've got my cupcakes out of the oven and they've been cooling for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to show you how to decorate them with a simple vanilla buttercream. So I'll just show you how to decorate too, and I'll put the rest aside. So to make a simple vanilla buttercream, it's really easy. All you need is 150 grams of butter, 2 cups of powdered sugar or confectioner sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla essence, and a few tablespoons, 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk, depending on the thickness you want your frosting to be. So first off, we'll start with the butter. Now remember again, the butter has to be at room temperature or it won't mix with the sugar. So put in your butter and put in all your sugar. And to make the frosting, it is easier to use a hand blender as you need to mix it quite a lot. So I'm just using a hand blender here. I'm not using a stand as I don't think I will need it. So when you start off low because the sugar will go everywhere. So just start off low and get the butter mixed up with the sugar. So this might take a while because the butter is slowly going to melt and then mix with the sugar. So just keep on mixing it until it will become sort of like a paste. So just keep on mixing. You can already see the butter starting to mix with the sugar and it getting this slightly yellowish color. Now when it looks somewhat like this, it's not totally mixed yet, but it's on the verge. You can add your half teaspoon of vanilla extract. You could add a little more if you wanted to, as this is a vanilla icing, but I prefer not to add too much. So about half a teaspoon or a little more of vanilla extract. And again, mix. Now you can see it's getting more together and getting more incorporated. But right now it's not very smooth. It's going to be really, really thick. So that's where the milk comes in. I'm going to stop right here. Now, you can see this is really, really thick and it's sticking all over the blender blades. So now, I'm going to add in a tablespoon at a time of milk. And it depends on the consistency I want it. Now this, I don't want it too thin, or else it would run off the edges, but I don't want it too thick either. So I should be able to squeeze it out of the bag. So just a tablespoon at a time. I'll add a tablespoon of milk and then mix again. You can see a big difference as soon as you add the milk. It gets thinner and thinner. But I still think it's quite thick, so I'm going to loosen it a little more by adding maybe, I think I'll need a tablespoon or two more. That's it. And this is normal milk, it's not buttermilk. So now it's a nice consistency. So this is about the consistency you want it. If you want, you can add maybe half a tablespoon or a tablespoon more of milk, but I think this is good. So now I'm gonna put this aside, and I'm gonna get a pastry bag or an icing bag, frosting bag, and I'm gonna just fold the corners down, and I tuck it under my arm or under my hand, sorry, and I can put it in. If you find it easier, you can use a glass and pull the sides down over the glass like this. And fill in the icing as well. So now all I'm going to do is take the icing and just put it in. So if you don't have a frosting bag, you can also use a Ziploc bag and just cut the corner a little bit and then squeeze it out of that. But I'm just going to use this. So I've just filled a little bit. And I'm going to fold the corners up. So that the icing goes down. But I'm probably going to need more icing, so I'm just going to add some more in right now. Okay, so I'm just going to fold the bag up all the way to the top. And squeeze the tops a little bit so the icing moves down just to the tip. And I'm just going to twist the top of this pastry bag or icing bag so that none of the icing comes out of the top when I squeeze it onto the cupcake. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out here, and then I'll show you how to do it. So one way you could do it is you start on the outside and you work your way in. Or you could start on the inside, work your way out, and then work it back to the top to form like a dome. And that is how you can make a chocolate cupcake with the vanilla buttercream frosting. Thank you.